Okay, 35 years ago when Excel was introduced, I had to compute moving averages. Well, the old days, we used to use a ledger pad. Then we incorporated this average deal and we offset it here, just as though we stole the information from our ledger pad and just used the average. And so we cheated and we just offset by 3, coming up with this 3-day moving average. And I still use this occasionally. But then the rows, we incorporated this row average deal. And I emphasized in my earlier videos how important it is to understand the row configuration in order to do what can be done with this average deal. This is probably the, I don't know, mid 80s, no, probably early 90s when this was incorporated. And today we want to incorporate to do the exact same thing. We're going to use this offset function. We're going to come up with the exact same results, but we have really old school, and maybe a little bit more modern. Let me explain to you how to compute 3, 5, 7-day moving average. A lot of stuff here, this nice little graph, and a long narrative explaining the 3 different techniques. Brad Williams, Excel Prime, moving averages. We've got all kinds of averages here. We're going to use the simple approach. We're going to use the row approach, and then we're going to use the offset approach. Here, just some numbers, all right? Here's the simple approach. We're just going to go average C5, C7. This is a 3-day average. What do? We just offset this by 3. And then we're just going, notice C5. We're taking C5 to C7. All we're doing is copying it down. That's it. We go here. We're going average C5 to C9. Copying it down. 5-day average. 7-day. We're offsetting it down by 7 starting here and just copying it down. C6, and then as we move down, we're just moving down 1. So it's a constant average. Here, we're going to use rows, all right? This way, we can just manipulate this to whatever we want. Row, what row are we in? We're in row 7. Minus row C5, 2, plus 1, less than 3. That's going to equal 0, right? Otherwise, if we go up here, fill up, we're going to get NA, just as noted, NA. I don't want to fill all this with NA. This is just an example. Then you can just copy this down. It's just doing the same thing. Here it's going to go row 8 minus row C5, plus 1, less than 3. That is if it's still true, and then NA, or otherwise, average C6. In other words, we're looking for a logic test. F9, does it pass? False. If false, F9, logical test, F9. If false, NA. Otherwise, average. Sometimes when you see a false, you think it's actual false. This is saying this is less than 3, it'd be true. So if we go up here, and we look here at this logic test, F9, it's going to say true. In other words, it's less than 3. Here, if we look in our logic test, F9, it's false. So then we're going to do what? Well, it's a 3-day average. So we're just going C7, C9. Here, basically the same thing. Notice we're changing this 5. Now, you could have a quasi filter for 3, 5, and 7 to remedy this. Basically, just row manipulation. Now, we're going to look at offset. Offset is basically a preset. What we're doing is we're saying plant your flag at C5. Offset. Offset is basically a preset. And what we're doing is we're saying plant your flag at C5. C5, 0 rows, 0 columns. Height is M2. What is M2? 5. That means our height is 5. We're not going to do anything until, because this is a 5-day average, we're not going to do anything until we get here. Till we get here, then we're going to start averaging. Notice, yeah, as I mentioned, just grasping the offset is sometimes a challenge here. Minus M2, okay? So it's negative 5 from C5. From C5, we're starting up above. We're going to look here, see right here, 0, 0. We started it right here at M, M1. And as funky as it is, it works. It works. This is the offset, and it's going to set 100. Then if we look here, right here to 120, 120. Okay, now what's the problem you see right off the bat here? We're not doing the 5-day average. We're just doing a 2-day average, okay? Here, you have to take into consideration that the first 5 days aren't applicable. If we look here, it just makes sense. Why? Well, we want 5-day average. We need 5 numbers. So if I put C9 here, C5, C9, that won't work. C9, 100, 105, no. Yep, that's actually correct, all right? So what we're doing here is we're grabbing, forget these numbers here. These need to go bye-bye. Here, we're grabbing the first 5 numbers. Look right here, 100, 120, 90, 145, 95, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you look across here, we have a 5-day average, 110. 5-day average, 110. 105, 105, 105. Got it? Here, if you're saying no on the offset, well, you can use the offset with min row. If you want to use offset in a different format, you can. We can go in here and we have our reference, we have our row number, we have our columns, then we have this min row minus row C5 plus 1. And how does this translate? The translation is this negative number. Here we're going to have negative 9. Negative 9 minus, we have minimum row. Be sure to check out all of our Excel courses. Excel data and text manipulation. We have an advanced beginners and intermediate course. Excel essentials. This is for individuals new to Excel. We have an advanced, excellent beginners, level 1 and level 2, and intermediate level course. Excel formulas, formulas only. We have a beginner, an advanced, and an intermediate level course. Click on any of the links. There's a short video that explains everything about the course. Check it out. Okay, looking at this a little closer, here's what we're doing. We have a number. All right, we've done this. Okay, we know what this is all about. But then there's the second number, minus M2. We're going to take the minimum of this. All right. This number is going to be row, which is 9 minus 5 plus 1, F9. And we're going to get, well, I'll show you. Here, we're going to get F9. We're going to get this, we had 9, all right? And then we have row C5, F9, F9. 9 minus 5 plus 1 is 5. Then we have negative M2, which is 5, negative 5. We're going to end up with, look at this, num1, F9, 5, F9. We're going to get this min number, which is going to be negative 5. Look at this, min row number 5. Now what you need to notice here, our starting point, C5. This number is going to be 5. It's going to carry down 5 all the way. Just carry this all the way down. This is the min. This is the min function. We're offsetting this thing by 5 each time. So average, C5, and our 110. 110, we're going to grab this. What are we going to do? We're going to grab 120. What is it, 75? This could be tough to visualize because you can't see what you're doing. You can't see what you're grabbing over here. Here, you can't see. You just average C5 to C7. And here, you're just averaging. You don't know what you're doing. That's the difficult part about working with offset. Here, you may feel more comfortable. Here, the same. Here, you can still see what's going on, average C9, and so on and so forth. That is the blind spot of working with offset. Your staff might not have a clue. You're going to have to spend endless time explaining the offset, unless you have a sophisticated crew that understands what's going on. Your choice. You can see there's a lot of activity here. Over here, very long and extensive narrative, along with anatomy. Okay, I spent enough time explaining this. I want you to work it out. There's enough examples for you to break this thing up any way you want. In terms of a graph, you can just put insert and then insert graph over here, charts. So what you have to do, highlight a cell, hold down your shift key, release your shift key, go to the next column, hold down your control key, click the next cell, hold down your shift key, and there you go. Go and hit insert, just go recommended chart, and then look right here, and there's your chart, or you can just go willy-nilly here. And this is not a course on charts. Look at my other training seminars. That's all you have to do, and then you recognize, you just place it wherever you want. Anyway, Brad Williams, XL Prime, thanks for watching.